Hi, I'm Oliver, aged 24, and that is the logo for Bossa Studios, the company that I work for. Speaking of which, I actually got a promotion last week, and I'm now the content producer. Fantastic. Now, last week we did a game jam with a charity called War Child, and I made a game with Alford and Lish, and it's called Emily Displaced. Now, what War Child do is they look after children that are caught up and affected by war, and they do that by protecting them, providing education and also food and water. So Alford wrote the game, I programmed the game, and Lish did all of the artwork. And this is what we managed to make in 48 hours. So I'm going to take you through the first chapter, and we'd really love to hear what you guys think. So basically it's an interactive story, and the decisions that you make affect the way the story plays out. So if you choose different answers, you'll get a different story and a different route to different endings. A bit like Choose Your Own Adventure books or the Telltale games. Okay, you are Emily, a 12-year-old girl. You're in a nice park with your parents, Paul and Tara, and the dog, Bruno. And Tara, your mum, says, Paul, did you bring the frisbee? And now we've got our first decision to make. So your dad says, yeah, Emily, did you want to play with Bruno? And you can choose yeah, okay, or maybe later. And as you can see, this decision has got consequences. So the answer you give will affect the way your story plays out. I'm going to click yeah, okay, because dogs are awesome and I totally would play with Bruno. Bark, bark, says Bruno the dog. Classic Bruno. You throw the frisbee for Bruno. It spins just above his head as he runs. He jumps at the last second and grabs the disc excitedly. He brings it back to you, wagging his tail. Cute. Next, your dad asks, who's hungry? I got ham sandwiches or cheese? And this question doesn't actually have consequences because it's literally just a sandwich. So I'm going to click bleh, neither. And your dad says, neither? I've got just the thing for you actually, dog biscuits. Yum yum. To which Emily responds, no way, ham. Except in the voice of a 12-year-old girl, obviously. You are just tucking into your sandwich when your dad notices something. You look over and a teenager is pushing and jostling with 3 policemen. Some men come over and start shouting at the police. One of them pulls something out of the back of his trousers, but you can't see what it is. And your dad says, you know what? I think we should finish these back home. Shall we pack up? And Emily, noticing something's wrong, says, what's happening, Mum? And Tara says, not to worry, dear, they're just having an argument. You all hurry back to the car. You climb in the back seat with Bruno as your parents load up. Let's put some music on. Shall we listen to the radio? Your mum cranks the radio up, but you can still hear the men shouting. As your dad puts his foot down on the accelerator, you hear a faint popping sound. You're playing at home with Ash, your friend from school. The heating is off, so it's chilly. Ash, with his hat on, says, let's play Space Soldiers. And consequences, you can either choose, sounds good, can we be the Rebel Alliance? Or, shall we play something else instead? My auntie says that we shouldn't play war games. I'm going to click, sounds good, can we be the Rebel Alliance? And Ash says, yeah, check out my blaster. Cool. Hey, watch out for the space troopers. You play your game. Ash watches way too much sci-fi, so it's always the same stuff with him, but he's funny, so you let him get away with it. Bruno gets a little overexcited by Ash and you running about the place and barks a few times. You and Ash laugh. You notice some people throwing stuff at police with big shields on the TV. And now it's later on, and you're sitting playing with your toys by yourself when there's a knock at the door. Who do you think that could be? Are we expecting anyone, Paul? Not that I know of. Keep the chain on the door. Oh, it's just Ed from the top floor. Hey Ed, what's up? Hi Tara, listen, I must be quick. I was just down at the square and something bad is going on. I think we ought to get out of town for a few days. You hear gunfire, muffled yelling, and a small explosion. What the hell was that? Jesus, we need to leave. You hear a fire alarm. Come on Emily, let's go. And you can choose to leave as quickly as you can or grab your bag first. And I'm going to grab our bag. You quickly grab your bag. It's still got a change of clothes from your sleepover last weekend. Your parents are trying their best not to show it, but you can tell that they are terrified. You press the button for the elevator, but nothing happens. Come on Emily, the lifts don't work when there's a fire. We have to take the stairs. The streets are in chaos. Everybody seems to be running. You spot Ash in the midst of it all. I can't find my mum and dad. Come on, darling, come with us and we'll find them later. You hear shouting and more gunfire. Some men with guns round the corner, pursued by a different group of men. They are shooting at each other with big guns. The people in the streets disperse, knocking you and your dad over. He scrambles to his feet, keeping his head down, and he picks you up and pulls you into a nearby empty shop. The two of you hide there, waiting for the gunfire to die down. Soon it sounds like the shooting has moved to another street. Stay here, I'm going looking for your mother. And again, this decision has got consequences. You can either say, no, I'm going with you, or be careful. I'm going to tell him to be careful. Don't worry about me. I'll be right back. Your father goes outside. You're waiting for a long time. When he comes back, he looks pale. Your mother isn't with him, but Bruno is. Where's Mum? I couldn't find her. But look who I did find. Bark, bark. It's Bruno the dog. Classic Bruno. You can hear the shouting getting closer again, so you decide to hide. Eventually you fall asleep, huddled together under the counter. When you wake up, there are still the sounds of far-off gunfire and shouting. You spot a few people cautiously moving down the street. Dad, I can see people outside. Maybe Mum is with them. Oh, let's go take a look. Pant, pant, says Bruno, the dog. The three of you go outside. There's no sign of your mother, but you do spot Ed in the group. Ed, have you seen Tara? Ed is about to say something, but then he spots you. He whispers something in your dad's ear, and your dad looks horrified and gasps. What's wrong, Dad? Your dad pulls himself together. You can tell he's putting a brave face on. Listen, we ran into a policeman a while back. He says they're getting people out of the city. If we head for the South Circular, we should be able to find a safe zone. You should come with us. Your father stands motionless for a minute, clutching the bridge of his nose. His face is scrunched up. All of a sudden he looks up. Okay, Emily, we're going with Ed. If we stay together, we'll be safe. Where's Mum, Dad? Has something happened? Your father bursts into tears. You don't see him cry very often, and you can't help but cry too. And that's the end of chapter 1. So here you can see the choices that we made. We chose to play with Bruno, we chose to play Space Soldiers, we chose to grab our bag, and we chose to listen to our dad. And these decisions have led to us unlocking the next chapter, chapter 2, together. I'm going to leave it here for this video, but as you can see, if you'd answered the questions differently, there's a chance you would have ended up in the countryside and had a slightly different story. And that's the game. Hopefully there's a chance that you guys will get to play this game, as it might be included in a bundle that Warchild are releasing in March next year. But for now, let me know in the comments what you guys thought to this chapter and the game in general. And I'd just like to thank Bossa Studios and Warchild for this opportunity to make a game. It's crazy awesome that my job involves making video games, and even more awesome when we get to help charities that we care about, such as Warchild. So there's a link here to Bossa Studios, Warchild, and my channel. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. I am potato.